Welcome and welcome back. We have one of the coolest fight cards of the year this weekend. It's time to get excited. UFC 322 has so many fights on it that could be their own headliner. I don't know how this card got so stacked, but it is so stacked. All leading up to our co-main and main event, which have a similar-ish story. They have similarities, right? We have two champions who are going up a weight class to try and capture a second belt, but there is so much more on this card. There are so many stories. We got to give this one a dynamic breakdown. So many incredible matchups in such a historic location, of course. We are headed to the historic, the famous MSG, located in NYC, of course, New York City. What a perfect place for a fabulous pay-per-view card. We have two champions looking for a second belt, but don't get it twisted. We're not going for that double champ status. It's a little too chaotic. There's a little too much drama in that, right? Well, it's a lot to coordinate. Abandoning the belt and moving on, turning a new leaf. Our co-main event is really interesting because we have number one and number two women's pound for pound. And has it ever even happened before? Now, talk about a super fight, am I right? We got super fight, super fight. We also have, as I'm sure you've noticed, a lot of welterweights. You got a bit of a welterweight wild card. And shout out for the middleweights and their supporting act because we got a lot of middleweight belts too, but the welterweights have a very particular spotlight shining on them. A lot of really high profile matchups, a lot of people who really want their second shot, who want their shot at the belt. Well, I guess it could be second shot depending. Rising stars are shooting all over this thing too. We have a lot of people who are paving their way, who are somewhere in between having paved a little bit of a road for themselves and, just trying to add some spark to it. Just so many incredible fighters. This could be the best pay-per-view of the year, the best fight card of the year. We will see, but I think it's got the makings to be it. Yes, let me know if you agree. Gotta give a shout out to The Bon. Gotta give a shout out to everybody at MMA Junkie. As always, really gotta give that whole team a shout out for their incredible journalism, reliable journalism. We love the personal interviews, the one-on-ones. We got to hear from our fighters. What's their story? What have they been up to? And so we appreciate that, and we appreciate just the crisp reporting. We get the facts from MMA Junkie. And shout out to The Bon. First up, we got a middleweight matchup with Baizangir Sirzikayev and Eric Mekhaniko. The Hunter, he is paving his way. He's hunting for a story. All right, I don't know if I'd go there. He had a very flashy appearance at the Dana White's Contender Series and then was called up just 4 days later to make his UFC debut against Eric Nolan. He says it was a bad fight, but hey, it still ended in a rear naked choke win for him, so I don't know if I would say it's bad. It was his first ever submission win. I would say that's pretty good, buddy. Well, let's see what his definition of a good fight is then, right? We'll see. It was a nasty leg kick that really compromised Nolan, and Sirzikayev just capitalized that, hit him with the old ground and pound, softened him up a bit, and just sunk that baby right in there. But 80% of his wins are coming from knockout, so definitely a hard hitter, but in all places, right? He hit that calf, and that was a hard hit too. Watch out for the knees, I would say as well. And when you ask him, okay, according to the Bond interview, what's he looking for in this fight? He's looking for a knockout in round one. Feeling a little confident with it. He's going against Eric Mekhaniko. Been working at the MMA lab. Great squad over there. He is from Tough Enough. And he's coming off of a split win to Cody Brundage, his first win in the UFC. That was a short notice appearance as well at 205. So, a little cuckoo, a little crazy, a little bit of a war. Did really well, I feel like, with the defending with the wrestling. That's Cody Brundage's wheelhouse. And that's the thing about Eric is he's got the MMA mindset. He definitely fights like an MMA labber. He fights like an MMA lab scientist. Yes, he does. Very much so. Brawling is not exactly the plan. Keeping it pretty feinty. He's really moving a lot with his feet so that he's constantly a moving target. Not easy to get to. And the wins are manifesting themselves pretty evenly split. The few losses that he has are in the TKO category. And he's got a great motto. The world doesn't care about your excuses, it only expects results. So he's got humble attitude, appreciate that. He's just got a very focused mindset, trying to build the story. Both of these fellas are, and he's got a lot of good vibes. So we're starting our night out with a couple of fellas who are, paving their way, making their story. We got one guy very much so looking for the big knockout, Sergey Kayev, right? He's going to be looking to let's get down to business. Eric McConaughey's probably going to be looking to get a little space with it. Keep it cerebral. And then we have a very fascinating matchup with veteran Angela Hill against rising star Fatima Klein at strawweight. Angela Overkill Hill. You know her. You love her. Legend. Angela is many firsts and many mosts, okay? First black woman to headline a UFC card. Okay, let's go. Most bouts in women's strawweight division history. Okay? And second most for all of women's bouts in general. It's crazy. And the list goes on. She's got most wins in strawweight. I'm not sure if that's tied with Tisha. Yes, we got a lot of most. Fight time for strawweight division. Like, she is a pioneer, to say the least. Angela Hill, just incredible performances, and for a very long time now, but she still looks so strong. So strong. And she actually had to make her way back to the UFC, believe it or not. Okay, so she had a UFC run, was cut, made her way back. It's amazing. Yeah, she's been fighting in the company for a long time now. Right now, coming off of a decision loss to Eisman Lucindo, another rising star in the division. That was a pretty tough matchup, pretty gritty decision, as it always is with Angela Hill, right? And 67% of her wins are from decisions, and that's 87% of her losses. She is such a durable fighter. You pretty much have to take her to a decision if you're going to try to get the win on her, but you just know it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, and it's going to be a very exciting performance. We're talking fight of the night, multi-time, right? She puts on an incredible show. She won her first ever submission last year, so we got a striking foundation, but we're still evolving, and that's what we love, right? It's never too late. It's never too late to add a couple tools to the wheelhouse, and that's very, very cool to see. Angela Hill is a very smart person, so it's no surprise, right? It's no surprise that she's still evolving. She's a gamer, both in the octagon and literally. That's so cool. She also has a bachelor's in fine arts, so she's a little artsy, a little art nerd, and she's got a really cool podcast called Two Straws with Jessica Penny, and they're so much fun. They do a lot of fight breakdowns, etc. Hanging out. If you want to just hang out and talk fights and chill, that's a great space for that. They're pretty awesome, pretty fun, pretty cool. And she's going against Fatima Klein, the Archangel, the young Archangel, 25. She's on the come up. She also, like Angela Hill, paved a way for herself in Invicta, went undefeated there, and has been here since 2024, and has been getting busy with it. I mean, coming off of a pretty fabulous, shocking head kick knockout of Melissa Martinez just a couple months ago, that was pretty cool. I gotta say, that was a big statement for sure. And her lone loss is Jasmine Dasavicius, and that was a year prior to that, coming in on short notice as well. We can work with that, right? She was fighting up a weight class even. So, we can work with that. We can bounce back from that for sure. She's never been finished, proven pretty durable. She's got a BJJ black belt and definitely strong just all around. But that is where her confidence really shines. Works a lot with Erin Blanchfield. That's classic wrestling, grappling extraordinaire, just one big rolling ball. And that's the thing, is she's got this belief, and these are her words: if you go to the ground with me, I'm going to drown you deep. So can definitely expect her to be looking for that, right? And she wanted one more fight this year, and she got it. Here it is. So this was her plan, and it's all perfectly working out against very, very tough competition with a chance to break into those rankings. And she loves the outdoors, and she loves Legos. So a bit of a nerd here as well. We got two nerds who know how to scrap, Gonna get busy. This is going to be super scrappy. So, Fatima, I think, is definitely going to be looking to slow Angela down by dragging her to the mat. But I think that we're going to get a lot of tenacious moments all over the place in this fight. And this is going to be a very fun, high level matchup. I think we got just absolute fireworks on our hands for this one. I'm really, really excited about this fight. Pretty much excited about all the fights on this card. I mean, come on. Hello. But this should be very scrappy, high pace. And I am really excited to see how Fatima does against Angela Hill because this is a really good opportunity for her and could be a huge statement depending on the win if she can pull it off. And you got to pull it off in fantastic fashion. Angela Hill, she's going to drag you to a tough spot. It's pretty hard to get out of there. And then we have Pat Sabatini Smitterini versus Chepe Mariscal. Pat Sabatini Sabarini, former CFFC featherweight champion, 7-2 right now, currently coming off of a decision win, and he is a slow starter. He's got a sambo background, sub preferred, 67% of his wins there, and nail lots, so keeps very good control. And we're playing from the outside. We're headhunting, starting it slow, because the majority of his strikes are on the ground. So when he gets you there, he's going to start really going crazy with it, getting Patterini, Sabatini. Okay, well, that was going nowhere. But yes, he does get a lot of meaningful strikes in on the ground, has a BJJ black belt that he really likes to get going with it, and gets the violence, brings that Philly energy. He definitely feels like a guy from Philly in a good way, with love and light. And he's got a Bachelor of Arts, so we love that. He loves the outdoors. He's big and efficient. So he's a slow starter, but once he gets going, it's dangerous. And it's dangerous on the ground with old Sabatini Sabarini. And he is going against Chepe Mariscal, the machine gun. Shout out to Cicero, Illinois. Those are his origins. We love a local. He snuck into his first MMA event when he was just 9 years old. Not Ulf, you know what I mean? Yeah, and that laid the foundation for him to get his judo black belt, Japanese jiu-jitsu black belt, and yeah, now we're here. We are 5-0 in the UFC since joining in 2023. That's pretty fabulous. He's coming off of a decision win against Ricardo Ramos, beginning of the year, and I would say, hey, check out that Charriere fight because it was a split decision for Mariscal, showed a lot of heart, a lot of grit, and Morgan Charriere, he is one tricky little craftsman. He kind of changes his game plan depending on who he's fighting. This is a cool fight because Morgan was trying to keep it at kicking range, and Chepe, he prefers to get you up close. Yeah, he's never been subbed, loves subbing, just like Sabatini Sabarini, but 44% of his wins are via decision. We're on an 8-fight win streak with Chepe. He's just absolutely killing him. We're undefeated in the UFC, and he loves making it ugly. He's very, very tough, so he'll get a little beat up in there, but he just loves the brawl. He loves making it brawling. He throws really heavy. Those shots are scary, and he really, really leans into it and all that. Prefers those close quarters. Shout out to his girlfriend, Claire. Well, I don't know if they're girlfriend or married. They have a baby, and it's the cutest baby ever, and they are cute and awesome, and she is a pro fighter herself and is in his corner. Yeah, we love a power couple. So this should be a really fun fight with two very competent grapplers who have never been submitted. So I imagine that we're gonna get a little crazy on the feet with it, go a little loose, get a little Chepe Mariscal with it, and Pat Sabarini, he'll be trying to keep that headhunting locked in for sure. Interesting to see how much Chepe's preference, I would say, to get the fight going is going to push Sabatini into a brawl where he is more of a slow starter. But we got a good one. This is going to be pretty fab. Up next, we have an incoming subathon. All right, I don't know, but kind of looks like it. Middleweight matchup between Kyle Dawkins and Gerald Meerschaert III. Kyle Dawkins, otherwise known as the Darce Knight, and oh boy is he. He's got 7 wins in that category. That is almost half of the wins that he has. So he had an interesting UFC moment, was at CFFC, then had a little run in the UFC, gave him the old cut, gave him the hatchet, went on a title run at CFFC, and then he's back. Okay, coming off of right now a pretty crazy TKO win over Michelle Pereira just a couple months ago. That is, he's running hot, but he is subalicious. Okay, he is subalicious. Very powerful though. He's got a couple of knockout wins. Definitely a finisher. Definitely a finisher. But he has nail loss in the subcategory, and almost 70% of his wins coming that way. And the thing is that, whether we get a submission win or not, the takedown's incoming. Watch out. Takedown incoming. Watch out. Watch out. Kyle Dawkins, interesting guy. Interesting story. We're on that second UFC run. Love it. We're back. He had a really interesting fight on his return with Kevin Holland. That fight is great entertainment and controversy. It's a fight in the Apex, so, that's one thing. So we're in the Apex, and, it's dead in there. It's quiet. So the fighters can hear the commentator, and DC is talking about how Kyle is long, and Kevin is like, he is so long, DC. And he's like, honestly, just really kind of a surreal moment. It's so weird. And what's even weirder is that that's not the weirdest thing in the fight, right? Because Kevin Holland's always a little chatty. He's a bit of a chatty Cathy. But there's a crazy clash of heads. It literally knocks Kevin out. Like, the clash of heads is so bad. Like, Kevin goes out. Like, his eyes go roll in the back of his head. Okay? So he essentially fall down, and he gets wrapped up in the darce, which then gets turned into a no contest. So it stops the fight, but, upon review. So maybe one day we'll run that back, right? Maybe. I don't know. The Darce Knight will be going against GM3. Yes, Gerald Mearshart III. He is a third. That's cool. I love that. BJJ black belt kickboxing. And, similar to Kyle, it's been a little bit of a crazy in the UFC. It's been a little crazy. 12-12. Right now he's coming off of a TKO loss to Michael Oleszczuk. Sorry, Michael. Love you. That was not too long ago, so I hope he's recovered from that, because it's been 3 losses in a row. But the thing about Gerald is he's freestyling in your face. Okay, so he's gonna be in your face with it. He's gonna be crazy. He's a bit of a goofball, right? Signature mustache. He's a classic, and we got a submitter on our hands. 80% of his wins. He kind of likes to trick you into it. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough tricking Kyle, but that's his thing. He likes to kind of, give you the old bait and switch. But the thing is about the old bait and switch, sometimes you get switched. And so 50% of his losses are also sub. Yeah, it's kind of a risk and reward thing. Yeah, but we love that chaos. He can definitely come back from the dead. He's proven to be, he's got the zombie within him. He's been working with Bilal, I think, still since leaving Killcliff. I think that's where he was at. So it's been a bit of a reunion in the Midwest, right? Yeah, shout out to Bilal. He's more of a homebody on his free time. Not big on partying, big on chilling. And in another life, he would have been a music teacher. That's actually what he was studying towards. He plays the saxophone. Pretty excited about this fight because it's just 2 crazy submitters, but they're also pretty aggressive. That's the other standout about these guys, is I think we're going to get right to it right away. I think this fight is going to feel like not even a second has gone by and a takedown might have already been shot, right? Clock is not even at 4:50 and we're on the ground. I don't know though. I just know it's going to be great. I got a really good feeling about this fight. There's something with this one. Should be fun. Subathon, perhaps. Then we make our way outside of the prelims. I think this is the first fight on the regular prelims, a bantamweight bout between Malcolm Wellmaker and Cody Haddon. Oh, let's do it. Oh, let's do it. Oh, let's do it. Yeah, the Machine. We know that name's taken, but maybe I think he deserves it too, for multiple reasons. Because he's a literal tradesman, and because he is definitely a machine in there. But it's getting a little complicated, right? We got 2 machines in the bantamweight division. How are we going to work this out? Winner keeps the name. I don't know. So he had a pretty fabulous one-shot KO on the Dana White's Contender Series and has been just keeping that energy going. So now I'd say Malcolm Wellmaker has generated a lot of hype for himself with his 2 UFC wins, coming off of another very scary knockout over Chris Matino a couple months ago. So he's coming off of 4 knockouts, and 3 of them are right hooks. What the? So the eyes are on him. 14-fight win streak. Undefeated as a pro. Young, but has been working, spent some time really developing that game. Oh, let's do it. So we're expecting big things from Malcolm, right? He's got a really big spotlight on him. Knockouts are definitely preferred in his world, and the two times that he has been to a decision, it's been splitty. So that's interesting. And Malcolm will be going against Cody Haddon, who was a Hex champion, Dana White's Contender Series, but that was over a year ago, and his last UFC appearance was a decision win, but it was about a year exactly for his UFC debut. So, you may be wondering, where's Cody? Where's he been? And it's unfortunate he's had two injuries in a row. Okay, so I don't think they were related, which is even worse. And hey, Cody, I've been there. I've been there, and it does really destroy your morale. And, he was kind of questioning, am I doing something that other people aren't doing? Like, what's going on here? Really devastating, right? When you're a youngster, he's only 20, he's only 27. It's just kind of frustrating, but he's back, and we're really excited about that because that's kind of a long layoff, and it sucks that it was two things back to back that were not related. We don't like that. So he's going to be, I expect, just, I don't know, itching, right? He's going to, I feel like, have a very particular energy when he gets out there, when you let him loose. 63% of his wins are knockouts, so definitely a knockout guy. Never been finished, so he's a tough little cookie. Only lost via decision, and has been on a 6-fight win streak, so picked up a lot of really good momentum, and it's just really that injury layoff. And I would say that right now he's looking to steal the spotlight because Malcolm Allmaker, eyes on him. And he's not even who he was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Siri Seedy. And that's kind of crazy. So he's filling in for Seedy, and we love him for that too. This is a really exciting bantamweight prospect matchup, and we're just so excited to see Cody back, right? Like, goodbye injury. Let's say to yesteryear with that. And he's back in the mix. I think he's a very, very exciting fighter, and this should be a pretty fabulous matchup. And, it'll just be great to see from Cody again. And both guys, leaning on the knockout, both really scrappy, and both paving a way for themselves in the UFC. They're just about in the same spot in their life and in career, so should be good in that sense. We still have a lot to see from both of these fellas as far as what they've got, what they're capable of. And then we have a rematch. Let's go. Erin Blanchfield, number 4, against Tracy Cortez, number 8, women's flyweight. This is a fabulous fight we got to keep our eyes on. Erin Blanchfield, cold-blooded. She's cold-blooded in there. She's like Elsa. Yeah. And she's pretty like Elsa. She is a BJJ black belt. She's got a martial arts foundation that came very early in life. She knew she wanted to be a fighter since she was 12 years old. That's really cool. So she had her journey in Invicta and made her way to the UFC in 2021. And she's actually the first female and youngest Eddie Bravo Invitational flyweight champion. So that's pretty cool, and shout out to her for that and for paving a way for all the other young gals, all the kiddos, so the girls who are kids right now who are looking up to Erin Blanchfield, and they're gonna think to themselves, I can do that, and one day they will, and that is so fun and cool. She is a very, very interesting person, and she fights a very, very interesting fight. So she has got a lot of cardio and durability, has never been finished, and has that round 5 knowledge, and can definitely push a grueling pace. And when you look into her decision losses, half of them are splitty. Okay, including the war with Tracy. But that war was many years ago, almost 7 years? Is that true? Oh, that's crazy. Okay, yeah, 5, 6 years, a lot of time. Crazy amount of time has passed, and they have both developed a lot since then. Right now, she's coming off of a very massive win against Rose Namajunas, which was a year ago, and she was scheduled to fight, if you recall, just a couple of months prior against Macy Barber, and we had the most last minute of last minute cancellations with that fight. Like, we got the word in, and the fight was we were about to do the walkout. Right? Never seen anything like that in my life. So Macy Barber, hoping she's good. Okay, I'm hoping that she's all good, but that was weird and very unfortunate for Erin. But here she is. We're back. She is a wrestler, of course, with that BJJ combined foundation. So she's looking to pull you into that crucifix and get creative with it. Yeah, and she's always doing that. She does a lot of high kicks too. She's pretty humble about it. I don't really know how to describe what I mean by that, but you know what I mean. Like she just is measured. She's a measured high kicker. Like it's not too crazy with it, but it's effective and it's coming. Yeah, and she also loves coffee. Like she loves coffee, girl. I see you. And she's going against Tracy Cortez, fella, fashion girly. Both these ladies are impeccably dressed. We got a lot of fashionistas all over this card. We're talking Prates, right? That guy knows how to dress. And he's got to stop smoking cigarettes. Okay, we'll get there. Tracy Cortez is also someone with a wrestling foundation. Very, very competent on the ground. Amazing in that top control. Showed a lot of that in her decision win against Vivian Araujo. And, was able to reverse positions that were not good for her. She just could. She showed that she knew how to get there, both via strength and via, that mind. She could find her opening whenever she needed it. She was on an 11 fight win streak prior to Rose, so was really picking up steam, and then, ultimately couldn't get past that massive challenge. She's all over that decision grind, though. 83% of her wins are decision. She's got 2 wins to finish, 1 of each, so really more of a grinded out type, and she's got an incredible amount of grit, never been knocked out, can walk in the line of fire. She's got her brother with her, the spirit is strong, and the Cejudos are in the corner. Well, Angel, but the Cejudos are honorary family for Cortez, and we love that. She really knows how to stand on business, and like I said, that top control is very strong. She is super competent on the ground. These ladies have that in common. First time that they met in the octagon, it was a pretty stiff competition, ultimately leading to a splitty, and I think it kind of depends on who you ask as far as who won that fight, but it was so long ago that I think that it's not an incredible film study. They have done a lot of work since then, but I do expect both of them to dig a little bit into their wrestling roots. And I am very much so excited to see how things do go on the ground, because I think that they really meet each other there. They have both been martial artists for a very, very long time and have that same foundation. Just very exciting. I think Erin Blanchfield in particular is someone who maybe we expected to have a title shot earlier, and perhaps if she can make this a very bold win against Tracy, that would be what's next. I wonder what Tracy's vision is as far as who she would want to fight next. Maybe it would be a belt challenge as well. This should be a really, really awesome rematch, and I'm hoping that we get a fight that is just as competitive, but evolved, right? They have changed a lot since then. Should be really cool, and there's a lot of implications as far as what happens. But this isn't the fight we thought we were going to get necessarily. We thought we were going to get Barbara Blanchfield, but hey, I'll take it. And then we have incoming middleweight chaos. A fight for the top 15. I'm loving this one. Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez at middleweight. Roman Kopylov. He comes from a family of athletes. His parents were both martial artists, very encouraging of his, chosen path. He really made a name for himself in combat sambo. I mean, he's a 5-time world champion. It's impressive, Roman. I'm officially scared. He's been in the UFC since 2019. Right now, he's coming off of a decision loss to Paulo Costa. And, Paulo just kind of Paulo'd him out. He Paulo'd him out a little bit. He just kind of did his Paulo thing, made Roman second guess himself a little bit. Was ahead of him, he just outstruck him by just kind of, how it is with Paulo Costa. When he wants to be on, he's on. He's very, very on. So classy win by the old Coster. Yeah. Roman's not really a subby sub, not going for that, never won a sub. He's a finisher, okay? So he's a finisher and never been finished, so shown a lot of durability and definitely brings a lot of confidence into those exchanges as a result. So 86% of his wins manifesting that way. And what's really cool about Roman is it can happen anywhere. So he does have round 5 experience, duly noted. And the knockouts, they are pretty evenly split. So he's not somebody that, relies solely on just, blood in the gates and let me just blood you up. He's pretty calculated with it. So he'll think about it. And the power will manifest itself early. So you don't always see that. Somebody where their knockouts are, evenly split across the round. So that's kind of an interesting Roman quirk. Left hands, because he's a Southie. Head kicking. Oh gosh, he's so kicky. That's the thing about Roman is the kicks are scary. Owie, owie. So watch out for those. The hands are kind of dropping, right? I think the confidence from the durability that he has shown thus far, right? He's never been finished, and he's getting the finishes when he puts himself into those crazy situations. So sometimes the hands come down. And he has an economics degree. And he'll be going against RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez, who is also an extremely decorated athlete in jiu-jitsu. I mean, we're talking world champion, 8-time national. What the heck? We got some decorated athletes. Both of these guys, that is one of their shining qualities, is their athleticism. Hello. So he had a bit of a Dana White's Contender Series, and then he went over to the LFA, became the champion, and then they said, okay, we'll have you. Okay, we'll have you. And he has been keeping busy. RoboCop has been keeping busy with an 8-3 since 2021, and right now he's coming off of a crazy left hook knockout of Jack Hermanson. I mean, what the? That, you know, the reason why it's what the is because that's his first ever left hand knockout. Okay, so it looks like both hands are to be scared of, and I love that. Statement absolutely made. He is a fight of the night type. He's gonna get it going. And you know Gregory, RoboCop, he's just got a beautiful soul. He's got a beautiful soul, and it really shows in the cage. He's a punchy kind of guy, really keeping it with the fists, not really prioritizing the kicks. Hasn't been sub, so he has a lot of good get off me energy. Very good at getting the ground and pound in too when things do go in the ground. And one thing that is pretty characteristic of RoboCop is he can be provoked into chaos. So if you want to get chaotic, he's going to waltz with you. Lots of damage in his fight on both ends. So usually by the end of his fights, whether he wins or loses, his face is completely, it's mangled up. It's mangled up. He really pushes himself there. And he's always thinking about his future, like what's next in the game plan. So if he does win, pay attention. He's got a call out ready for sure. He knows exactly who he wants to fight next. He's very strategic in that way, which is interesting because he's got such a chaotic presence, which I don't know if I normally pair those two things together. But why not? He doesn't really care what your game plan is. Never. Because he has his own. I'm expecting a lot of blood, war, carnage, violence, and it should be really, really exciting. This is going to be middleweight craziness. We got a lot of really good middleweight bouts on this card in addition to the welterweight wild card, and this is one of the most exciting middleweight matchups. This is really fabulous, and it's a chance to break into the top 15 for Gregory or for Roman Kopylov to hold that line real strong, but I just know we got some blood on our hands with this one. All right, next up, more middleweights. A potential bounce back for old Bo Nicky versus Rodolfo Vieira. The old tickle nickel. Bo Sickle Nickel. He's cool. He's a wrestling prodigy, so he's got big shoes to fill. He didn't have to walk this path. He's a 3-time NCAA D1 champion. That's crazy. Dan Hodge Trophy winner. That means you're the best. Okay, and he's been on the mat basically since he was born. He just rolled right out onto the mat. That's a weird image. Anyway, he was on the Dana White's Contender Series twice. So similar to the old RoboCop, had to find a way. Well, not similar because RoboCop, it just didn't work out. And then he did the whole LFA thing. He is 4-1 in the UFC. Joining in 2023. He's coming off of a rough knee to the body. You know what I mean? Like his body his rib cage looked like it was displaced. I was there. It was crazy. RDR, he got Dutch on him. Okay, he gave him the old Dutch treatment, got Dutch kneed, crumbled into the floor. It was a lot. So still a lot to prove. Still a lot to prove for Bo Nickel, his first ever loss in the UFC and, pretty devastating fashion, a lot of weight on his shoulders. So hopefully he's been getting back to hunting, fishing, golfing, centering himself, getting ready for the epic challenge ahead. Because he will be facing Rodolfo Vieira. Oh my word. The black belt hunter, he's a BJJ black belt. Oh, big surprise, right? 5-time world champion. We got a couple 5-time world champions on this card. What's going on? Decorated athletes everywhere. He's been in the UFC since 2019. And right now he's coming off a decision win over Tresean Gore, which is pretty apt because, Tresean Gore, young, feisty, competent, good wrestling. So, I'd say that's a great statement for Rodolfo in terms of how the youth is shaping up. He's still showing up youthful. and oh boy, is he a subist. Oh gosh, 90% of his wins via sub, it's all he knows. Well, not really. Only one win via knockout, nail loss, so a lot of durability, right? He is an absolute athlete. Both these guys so athletic, and one of them with the crazy wrestling foundation and the crazy wrestling accolades, and one of them with the BJJ foundation and the BJJ accolades, like talk about decorated and recognized. And they are, yes, both very, very athletic. So should be a very athletic scrapperoo. I'm curious to see just what it looks like. It's gonna be wild. Like, I kind of have a feeling that we're gonna just go crazy on the feet with it. I don't know, but I'm excited to see how Bo Nickel approaches this fight. Overall, I'd say Bo Nickel has a lot more to lose in this fight than Rodolfo Vieira, the black belt hunter. Yeah, Bo Nickel, lots to prove, lots of scrutiny. So, gonna be curious what happens here. We made it to the main card, and the incredible fights continue. First up, this is a really exciting lightweight matchup between Beneil Dariush and Benoit Saint Denis. Beneil Dariush has been in the UFC for a while now, right? 17-6 since 2014. So right before I started watching. He is a BJJ black belt, and that is definitely where he finds his home and happiness. He competes a lot in those tournaments, even still. That's just where he loves to be. I'd say that's a big part of his foundation and joy in martial arts, though he does have pretty heavy hands. He hits pretty hard. Right now, he's coming off of a decision win against Manny Moicano, and the thing about Beneil Dariush is he's never lost a decision. It's pretty evidence that he's a very game plan type. He's somebody who makes really effective adjustments. The Beneil Dariush that you see in round 3 is a lot different than the one you see in round 1. He has done a lot of thinking and a lot of reconvening. And usually, unless things are just going perfectly his way, he will change a couple of things, which is pretty fascinating. We'd love to see that. Very smart guy. Very powerful as well, though, as mentioned. 8 round 1 finishes. He definitely goes for it, so he can get nasty and scrappy with it, but is still primarily a counter striker. So that's how I feel he really gets those decision wins, because he is ready to get the action going, but picks his shots pretty well. Not overly carefully, though, because he's getting that performance bonus a ton. He's got 5 performance bonuses, and he has just been circulating at the top, number 9 right now, and has, he right before his decision win, he did have a 2-fight losing streak, but again, Sarukian, Oliveira, right, it happens. And he's a philanthropist, as I'm sure you may know. He's a giver. He gives back. He's got a foundation. He's all about that charity. And he's going against Benoit Saint Denis, God of War, or as I affectionately like to call him, the Sub of War. He's the Sub of War, yeah, because 71% of his wins are subby. He really likes to do stuff with the arm. He's never been subbed himself, so he's the Sub of War. He's got a judo background, following in his dad's footsteps twofold. He's got army experience. He's been there, done that for real. And he's actually only been a pro since 2019. Huh. What? That's crazy. What the heck? So he's pretty good at MMA for somebody who's only been doing it for a little while. And he's been very active as well. So he signed to the UFC just hardly a lick after he started his pro career. Right now he's coming off of a rear naked choke win against Mauricio Rufy, and I think we got to give him his flowers. Because Mauricio Rufy looked bad in there, a little, not himself. He didn't look himself. Okay, maybe bad is rude. He didn't look right. And I think we got to give BSD, his flowers for putting Rufy in a tough spot and bringing the fight right to his face. So we love that. It's an energetic kind of violence. I love it. Decisions, hardly. He's only been there one time. It didn't go his way. And he believes he's making a lot of big progress. And I'm like, hey, yeah, buddy. Heck yeah, you are. And he's so green still. It's crazy to think that Benoit Saint Denis has only been a pro since 2019. I think that the ceiling has not been reached for this fella. And this is crazy. This is a crazy competition in front of him. And his wifey, if you didn't know, is a baddie just like him. She's a cop and a pistol instructor. So they got that cop military thing going. I think that this fight is so exciting. You have Beneil Dariush, who is known for being an incredibly crafty decision winner. So he wins all the ways, but decisions, he really shines with his ability to make meaningful adjustments and have a crazy good game plan. Like he's a game plan type. Then you have Benoit Saint Denis, who says to heck with the decision, let's go, 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 go. And I think that Beneil Dariush's a real gamer. So I know that he's going to be willing to walk into some deep fire and get nasty with Benoit Saint Denis. So I think we got a nasty scrap on our hands. And I think it's going to be weird in a good way. Just two very different motivations, I feel like, for these fighters. They just approach things very differently. And then we begin the welterweight wild card with Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. This is crazy stuff. Rocky, Leon Edwards, and you know what? I feel like we got a bit of Rocky vibes right now. A bit of an underdog feeling, right? Got to get back in the... Yeah, so Leon Edwards found MMA as a way to stay straight. He's somebody who didn't necessarily grow up dreaming of being a fighter, but found it as a way to just, foster some discipline, etc. We know that story. Bama champ, and UFC champ, defended 2 times, and then lost the belt to Bilal. We know how it goes. He knows how to surprise you, right? Kamaru Usman, of course, right? Legendary. And in general, he could be very surprising. And he's kind of, because that, last minute knockout of Kamaru Usman when Leon looked completely defeated, because that shocked everybody. I'll never forget that moment. That was shocking. That was crazy. That is one of the few UFC moments, because there's just so many fights, it's hard not to blend things together. That is one of the few ones that I just remember everyone, like the surrounding and just everyone, and so I think because of that, he will forever instill a little bit of fear in his opponents, as far as that can just come at any moment. Even when he looks like he's depressed, he still might hit you with one. So right now, though, he's coming off of a Gilly loss to Sean Brady, round 4, so it was a lot of bullying. He didn't look himself, and I know that has pushed a lot of criticism, perhaps, but we don't know what's going on in his head. We don't know what's going on in that head of his, but we just know he didn't look himself. Okay, he didn't look right, but he knows how to get to a grueling decision. He is a very good decision fighter. He's a great point fighter, very, very skilled, incredible striker, so he knows how to push it there. He knows how to get leggy, knows how to get crafty, and maybe this is a good break from the main event life, right? Maybe Leon Edwards, as he's described, can kind of sprint with it now that we've got 3 rounds to deal with. And he'll be looking to kick off the sprint against a bit of a sprinter himself, Carlos Prates, the Nightmare. He's a Muay Thai kind of guy, it's tattooed on his chest. He's got 100 fights in that category. Yeah, he's a BJJ black belt too, though, you can't forget. He is coming off of a pretty strong rebound after his first loss in the UFC. So right now, coming off of that spinning back elbow KO of Jeff Neal. Watch out. Watch out for that. Great rebound. Probably the most ideal rebound. Okay, not really. An ideal rebound would be if he destroyed Jeff in a decision. You know what I mean? Because the decision, he was a big weakness. That he couldn't get past the Machado Gary puzzle. And again, talk about giving flowers. Give Ian Machado Gary his flowers. He is incredible. He is a tough cookie. Yeah, and that's why he's a little bit ahead in the race right now, because he gave him a puzzle he just could not solve. He could not solve that puzzle. But great rebound, and pretty much a testament to Carlos's big strengths. He's a knockout guy, bang, bang. Okay, he's a southpaw, so he's got 4 left-hand related knockouts. I'm scared. 5 performance bonuses, and 4 of which were in a row, making him a pretty powerful contender for Fighter of the Year in 2024. Right? He joined the UFC and just went blitz on him. So, and then couldn't solve a really crazy puzzle, and that's pretty reasonable. Machado Gary he's top level. He's so top level. And interesting Carlos thing. I know a lot of people don't really believe in JDM to be able to deal with the Islam toolkit, but Carlos does. He thinks that if he gets a chance at the belt, that's who he'll be fighting. So duly noted. He also says he doesn't watch much fights. Okay, duly noted. And cigarettes. We gotta quit the cigarettes, my guy. No more cigarettes. Marlboro gave him a jacket. Now he's their spokesperson. Oh, great. This is gonna be awesome. Welterweight craziness, the welterweight wild card. I really want to see Leon Edwards treat this like a sprint. I want him to run out of those gates like a racehorse and tell Carlos, no, no, no. Not like I have anything against Carlos. I'm not attached to the outcome, but just because Leon wasn't looking himself. He's coming off of a loss that just didn't feel good. It felt hard to watch. Whereas Carlos is coming off of a fabulous rebound. Fabulous rebound. Because I just want to see Leon, look sparky in there. That's my goal for this fight. But I'm expecting a lot of scary violence. Welterweight Wildcard Part 2. Sean Brady, number 2, versus Michael Morales, number 8. Sean Brady, he is, we just talked about him, okay, right? He's coming off of his win against Leon Edwards. It was very bullying. He bullied him up until he got the gilly out of him. Ouch. Yikes. Crazy. He was a Cage Fury champion, and he's been in the UFC since 2019. Right now he's on a 3-fight win streak. He's a big decision, submission kind of guy. Not exactly known for his knockout power, but known for his grueling and controlling energy. He's grueling and controlling. And he is very perfect, honestly. The way that he fights is just so measured. I'm loving it. Other than the Bilal loss, it feels like Bilal just was able to hit something in him, and it kind of all came crumbling down. The walls came crumbling down, but every other performance of his, he has been so controlling and so dominant, so focused. Okay, it's amazing. So he is 18-1 for a reason. And Bilal, he's a pretty tough cookie. So yeah, I've been working his way back now on the 3-fight win streak from then. So we've rebounded since then. Hey, did you know he's got auto mechanic skills? That makes so much sense to me. I feel like he's an auto mechanic in the cage, because you gotta be pretty dang smart. And just in general, he's just feeling like that. So he's so controlling, and he just was very suffocating in his last appearance. We got 2 Philly boys on the card, Sean and Petty. And he'll be going against Michael Morales. It's Spider-Man. He does not go by that, but one day he will. Because he embraces that, obviously, right? The shirt, he painted his nails last time, which was so cool. And he just embraces the Miles Morales comparison. I mean, their names are... They almost have the same name. It's awesome. So I love that for him. And he's Spider-Man. Other than Nazim Sadikov, but we've been over this. We can do a little deep dive on which one of them is which Spider-Man, because they both can be Spider-Man. It's a multiverse, but he's Miles Morales. Nazim Sadikov, we're still trying to figure out which Spider-Man that he is. Let me know if you have theories. He's fighting next week, so we can talk about that. Okay. Michael Morales, he loves his mom, and it's because that was his first coach. Shout out to the judokas, right? So shout out his mom. Shout out his mother. She is one baddie. She is so cool. His mom is not only a seasoned competitor, she's a referee, okay? She is, of course, a judo black belt, right? And she retired from competition at 42, so she was killing it for a while. So cool. I just love that story. And I love how much he loves his mom. It's really sweet and it's really cool. And it just makes so much sense why his foundation is so strong. So he has been in the UFC since 2022 and is undefeated. He's undefeated in his professional career. He is a national wrestling champion, which I think is oftentimes missed if you just simply watch his UFC performances. Seems like he's keeping it in the back pocket because he has primarily put things together on the feet and in the striking. It's a gift and a curse, that old undefeated thing, right? It's a gift and a curse, and that's kind of how Sean Brady described it. Just so much pressure when you're undefeated. Really, it is a gift and a curse, and they have a nearly identical record. So, kind of crazy that he's in similar shoes, perhaps, with that weight on his shoulders, though he seems pretty chill. He is a finisher, so not really on the grueling decision grind. He's so powerful, 72% of his wins, and similar to Kopylov, who manifests a lot of his finishes scattered throughout, is not a chaotic finisher. Same thing with Michael Morales, so it doesn't need to be in round one. In fact, it's pretty split up, and it's because the instincts really kick in. It's pretty cool to see. You'll see that he's just very measured. He doesn't fight like somebody who is 26 years old. Like he's youthful because he's so spry, right? And he's just freaking the speed, the energy, right? He looks like a youthful guy, but he fights extremely patient. And so his knockouts, they manifest themselves throughout the rounds. Very, very cool. Keeps it so long. He's such a long guy, and he's long with it. Jab, distance, in and out, in and out, in and out. Very much so uses his length to his, advantage. And I'm loving the uppercut on the sneak. Okay, talk about patience. You never see, not never, but it's rare that you're going to see a wild, crazy, uncorked uppercut out of this guy. It's going to be that surgical uppercut. And I love an uppercut. That's my favorite punch. He's having fun in there, too. Speaking of punching, Superman punch. He'll mix it in there, but again, it's mixed in so well. He feels like a superhero when you watch him fight. This is a really exciting fight because Sean Brady, as far as I can see, is perfect. Other than the Bilal loss, like the way that he fights is like he's perfect. He's got a measured, refined, amazing. And I feel Michael Morales brings a lot of that same thing in his own way. Like they both fight just so technically measured. I'm loving it, and they are in a similar position, right? They have been very, very dominant over their competition, but Sean Bray just with the one little scratch. This is the biggest test for Michael Morales, coming off of that win against Gilbert Burns. That was a star-studded performance. I was not expecting him to do Gilbert like that. And this could mean, from my opinion, that Michael Morales, if he wins, will get a shot at the title next. I think that would make a lot of sense. I think 7-0 would be, right? Come on. And Sean Brady, again, he has only faced adversity in one place, and that is Bilal Muhammad. Really fun. But of course, it all depends on the outcome of many things, I guess. But I just think Michael Morales is up there. I think that he could make a case for himself, depending on how this goes, but this will be really, really exciting. I'm a little nervous about this fight. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Both guys just so strong and so surgical about things. They are really different in many ways, but they are so tough, and they are both in a very critical spot. And it's crazy that this fight isn't a main event. Totally could be. So many fights in this card could be a main event, but it is this slot right before our co-main event. I think if there's anybody who could deal with Michael Morales's youthful athleticism and his length, it's Sean. I think Sean is going to know what he's got to do to get his hands on him, and I think I'm so excited about this fight because they do have a similar background. They both have a really strong wrestling foundation, and I think we have yet to see Michael really pushed there. And I think Sean's gonna do that. I mean, to heck with it. Why not? He's a complete MMA artist, and he's a grueling decision grinder. And I wanna see that. I wanna see how good Michael Morales' wrestling is against Sean Brady. So I'm hoping that we get a little bit of that. And that means we made it to our co-main event, which again could stand alone as its own main event. Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili, moving up to try and capture a second belt. Valentina Bullet Shevchenko, she comes from a family of greatness. I mean, the Taekwondo Muay Thai roots run deep. Her mom, Elena Shevchenko, I believe, is still the president of Kyrgyzstan's National Muay Thai Association, and she is a former multi-time Muay Thai champion, and her father was in the Navy, and her sister and her were the first ever sister pair that was ever on a UFC card. So that's really awesome, really cool stuff, and we know it, right? That's what we know her for. She's a lifelong martial artist, just lives and breathes martial arts. Talk about the fighting spirit, right? She was born to do this. It's amazing stuff. And she is the current UFC flyweight champion and first ever Kurs UFC champ. And she's got 8 title defenses. What the heck? She is coming off of a pretty tricky decision win against Manon Fiorot, who is known as potentially the strongest of the flyweights. She's very, very strong, very physical, and she did give Valentina a bit of a tough time. That was a bit of a tough time. Manon had some pretty good moments. You could see Valentina getting a little bit frustrated in there. But, hey, she maintained tried and true and kept her reputation as a perfect fighter. Because she wins in all the ways. So she's only been finished twice, so she's pretty hard to get out of there. And her wins are coming all the ways, but I would say she especially shines, of course, in the Muay Thai and the Taekwondo. But if we are on the ground, specifically in top position. So she's not a Charles Oliveira, right? She's not somebody who's dangerous from as much from this position. Okay, let's be clear, she's dangerous from everywhere. But it's top position that she really gets it going, really knows how to, put it on. And of course, she recaptured the belt, right? So she has had a really interesting road. It's been all over. Amanda Nunes, like we've everything. She's done so many things, and she's speaking of all the things she's done. Okay, she's first of all she's a global citizen, right? We know that. You're aware she's a polyglot, right? You're aware she can speak more than 3 languages. Yeah, that's crazy. Not only that though, but she was on a reality dance show like competition. Okay, they like fight dance. Well, it's like Avatar The Last Airbender. Anyway, she's also in a movie. She's a movie star. Her and Whaley are both movie stars. So she's in a movie called Bruise with Halle Berry, where she plays a fighter who fights Halle Berry. It's like super fun, and she's so cool in that role. And with all that considered, she's one of the coolest people currently living. And it's Zhang Weili who is coming up. It's Magnum who's coming up to attempt a shot at another belt. She is just like Valentina. She was born to be a fighter. But instead of being raised to be a fighter, it was just something kind of inside of her. She just wanted to. After seeing martial arts movies, she was a very, very small child when she was asking her parents, please, please, please invest in me. And, her brother at one point, he was like working a second job just to pay to send her to a martial arts academy. She was so dedicated, and her family really supported her, and she had to deal with a back injury, and she never gave up. She just kept going. So after completing, the martial arts academy, and it was just tough, MMA specifically at the time that Whaley was starting to fight wasn't exactly super big in China. And so in many ways she's truly a pioneer. It was tough like booking fights for her pre 2017. But in 2017, she fought 11 times. Oh, no, no. No, no, no. No, no, no. And that is what it took. Okay, so in 2018, she made it to the UFC. We're 10-2. Those two scratches, as we know, are both Namajunas. Yes, the Namajunas scratch. So she was the KFO champion. She did those 12 fights relatively just like 2 years. That's insane. And then now she's here. She's a two-time strawweight champion. Okay, 3-time total title defenses, and is coming off of a pretty dominant title defense against Tatiana Suarez, who we suspected was going to give her some trouble because of her being the most decorated wrestler in the whole strawweight division. But nah, Whaley took care of that. And so now she's on a 5-fight win streak, looking to make history for herself. This is really cool. I think it's a great move. This is total super fight. New division, new leaf, potentially. Not sure if she's going to go back down afterwards, but the belt has been vacated, right? It belongs to Mackenzie Dern now, so perhaps this will be a new leaf. It's crazy. And that's the thing about Whaley is she can do it all. She really can do it all. She proved that against Tatiana Suarez, came in with an incredible game plan. So good in transition. That's where she really shines, is in those transitions. And I think she just has the right attitude about life. She's saying, just a million great things all the time. She just always wanted to be a warrior since she was a kid, and considers herself, like something really stood out to me one time is that when she described herself as an empty bottle, just that, she's essentially just absorbing the world, learning. She's such a good sport, is how I would describe her. A beautiful soul, and also starred recently in a movie, which I can't find how to watch it. I want to watch this movie. I want to watch After Typhoon. It just came out, but I don't know how to watch it. It seems pretty cool. And with all that considered, she is also one of the coolest people currently living. So we have two of the coolest people currently living. We're going to put together potentially the biggest super fight of the year. Like, this is crazy. Number 1 and number 2 pound for pound. Like, this is just Really compelling stuff. It's very compelling. Valentina Shevchenko, known for being perfect, known for being surgical. She's technical about it. She has just proven her strength, her composure. She's got the MMA IQ 100. And Wei Li, she is so aggressive. She's undeterred. She's completely an unbreakable spirit. She's like, she will not stop until her goal is achieved. And just keeps getting better and better. And Valentina has looked strong throughout all of this. It's just really cool, and I think so many of us were not sure, right? Would Whaley move up? And I think with all the talk about it being what people want to see, we said, yeah, I mean, she did a lot at strawweight, and this is really cool. And I think we're pretty curious, what's the size going to look like? I think there's similar heights, but there's about a 3-inch reach advantage or something like that. But I really don't think that Whaley's going to have a problem getting physical. I'm sure many of you have seen her, lifting up Francis Ngannou like he's a basketball, just, oh, there he is. She picked Shaq up off the ground. Pretty cool stuff. So I expect her to be strong. I expect her to be gritty. I am just so curious to see her approach to this fight. I think Valentina will have the surgical approach, looking to keep things at the kicking range. I want to see what happens when we get in the clinch. I think both of them, what they have in common though in terms of the ground, is the top position is where they excel. Yeah. So not going Charles Oliveira with it so much, but being suffocating and on the ground. And I'm just really excited about this. This is gonna be so cool. I think we're gonna get a gritty, nasty, grindy decision. I expect this to be a really close fight. I don't expect to see the quit in either of these women. No way. No way. I don't think we're gonna get quit. Not getting quit in it. But it's just gonna be really cool. The transition moments I think are gonna be the most exciting because they both shine there. Wow, can't believe this. What a crazy co-main event. It could stand on its own. And we have our finale, the welterweight wildcard finisher, Jack Della Maddalena, looking to defend his belt against Islam Makhachev, who is playing the role like Wei Li, coming up a division to challenge for a new belt. Jack Della Maddalena, a relatively new champion. So coming off of his bully win over Bilal Muhammad, and he looked great. He really shined out there, and he was able to deal with Bilal's wrestling just fine. He said, yeah. And so he kept his 18-fight win streak. Pretty cool stuff, right? You open up your pro career with 2 losses, and then you just freaking riding the wave ever since then. And he came from the Dana White's Contender Series, and I don't know if you really noticed, but his appearance in Dana White's Contender Series, he was very technical. Like, he has 8 fights now in the UFC since then, but he came into the Dana White's Contender Series looking quite refined. Looking like he has always looked like the switch hitter that he is. His boxing reputation is for good reason, and he has been a really good boxer for a while, so it's kind of crazy. I feel like he's evolving in so many ways. He's already been so good. It's pretty cool. And the footwork, he's always attacking to the body. And so he's got 5 performance bonuses because he just puts on a show. His striking volume and accuracy is crazy. So it's not like he's just throwing out strikes. They're landing. Boxing extraordinaire. And he's got a BJJ brown belt, which is not nothing. And he's really into surfing. So a bit of an outdoorsman. Makes sense for an Australian to be into surfing. He's going against your favorite horse guy. I know that's what he is to you. He's your favorite horse guy. You know how it is. He's from Dagestan, so of course we started with street fights. Yeah, but he's also Sambo world champ. And the UFC run has been strong. It's been strong. It's been a long time since he lost, right? We're on a 15-fight win streak, so similar to JDM. Had a little bump. Not JDM's bump wasn't in the UFC, but you know what I mean. They're both on a crazy win streak. That's the talk of the town, is their combined win streak is 30-something. That's pretty big. That's pretty heavy. It's really extreme. And this is his first attempt at welterweight, which is a pretty big jump, wouldn't you say, from 155 to 170? So that's a lot of the talk of the town as well. Is he big enough? How's he going to look in there? Is he going to stay if he wins? He's a finisher. Obviously sub, right? It's that Dagestani wrestling, get scared, right? We're scared. He actually started out in Taekwondo, and he played soccer for a little while. So that's cool. Just a little cool thing. And we both also love Tank Abbott. That is our shared quality, among some other things. But the Tank Abbott connection, I love Tank Abbott. I think that's funny. Yeah. So he's looking to make history for himself. Okay? Looking to make history for himself. Not like we haven't had double champs, but you know what I mean. Okay? We're looking for some history. Only losses in 2015. We had to dig deep, right, to beat Volk in part one. I would say that is the hardest he's ever had to push. So he's got a lot of really incredible wins, right? Oliveira did him dirty. Poirier beat him at his own game. That's crazy stuff. But I would say the biggest adversity was that Volk part one. He had to dig deep. He got a little busted up in there. And I thought that was cool. And so it proves that he definitely can take it there. He definitely is not a one trick pony. I don't think anyone's really saying that, but of course we know the common prediction is he's going to go to the ground. Our favorite horse guy. I think, of course, Islam will be going to the ground, but I am just excited to see in general how Jack deals with that because, people aren't really believing in Jack. Unless you're Carlos Prates, who apparently doesn't watch fights. Carlos, come on. Don't say that. A lot of people are favoring Islam, I think, because, of course, he has done a lot to really prove himself. He's had some really, really incredible wins. It's been so dominant. And then, of course, the prodigy that he is, right? Filling in Habib's footsteps, etc. The name. You get a lot of grace and a lot of hype and a lot of support. And so then that kind of bleeds into Jack getting a little bit of I'd say dismissal. So it's not hate towards Jack, I wouldn't say, because come on, Jack's been looking fabulous and just a bit of a dismissal. Kind of like, oh, well, if he gets him to the ground, then it's all over. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think that Jack is going to give him a bit of trouble. I think he's going to give him a bit of trouble, and I think it's going to be fun. I think we're going to get dragged to a rough place. Like, that's what I want to see. Like, I want to see a rough decision. I think the co-main and main event are pretty likely to both kind of have that. Just a nasty, gritty, witty, splitty, maybe. Okay. Nasty, gritty, witty, splitty. Witty because everyone is so smart. Everyone is so smart. It's just so exciting and really a chance to cement some legacy. So, of course, Islam making some big moves, jumping up kind of a lot, right? Big moves. And JD, a relatively new champion. And, of course, we wonder, would we be here if Bilal had won, considering the friendship between Islam and Bilal? Just so many, I guess, unexpecteds in a way. This is cool. It's a cool moment, and we're going to get some really important answers about the welterweights just in so many ways. Like, what the heck? We got so many moving parts. It's wild. All the parts are moving. What an epic night. I mean, I could go on forever. We could talk and talk and talk about these fights. I want to hear what you think about anything, about all of it. From the first fight to the last one to anything in between. There are so many cool fights on this card. I think that this is probably the best pay-per-view of the year. At least it has the makings to be. We can't really say that until it's all said and done. But wow. Very, very cool too that we get to have two title challenges, but that there's specifically a similar narrative of somebody who's looking to move up to get a second belt. You don't always have that, so that's really fun. And I do think that we have never had the women's number 1 and number 2 pound for pound fight but for the belt. That's the coolest thing ever. Really exciting. I just think it speaks so much about the future of our sport. We got an incredible future ahead of us, and it gets me excited about 2016, 2016? 2016? 2026? Oh no! That's how you know I've lost it. Getting excited about 2016. Okay. Gets me excited about 2026. The year is fast approaching. We have one more pay-per-view after this, but I think this one's really special. So let me know. Let me know all your thoughts. Here is our song of the week. Check out this band Whispers. They're from Thailand. They're super cool. I got to see them perform and I had no idea who they were, and now I think I might be their biggest fan. Okay, I'm not their biggest fan. They got a big cool, awesome fan base, but you should join it as well. Check this out. Check out their album. Really great stuff. And it's great music to just kind of think and get riled up for this awesome, incredible weekend. Let me know anything, anything you want about the fights, about life. Tell me. I think that's all that I've got. So excited. It's going to be a really, really fun night. It's going to be hard to stay up though. This one's going to go late. Peace out.